September 28, 1918. The war is almost over. A soldier peers through his sights. The target is just meters away, wounded, limping, unarmed, finger on the trigger. One breath, one movement, and he lowers his rifle. Why? Because that's not what you do. You don't shoot a wounded man. The German soldier turned around, looked the British soldier in the eyes, nodded silently, and limped away. That British soldier would never learn the name of the man he had just let go, not until 20 years later, when the Prime Minister of Great Britain would call him at home and tell him that the wounded soldier was Adolf Hitler. France, September 28, 1918. The village of Markling. The First World War is living out its final weeks. British forces are pushing the Germans back. Victory is close. Everyone can feel it. But one soldier makes a choice on this day that may have altered the course of human history. His name is Henry Tandey, private, 27 years old, the son of a stonemason from Warwickshire. By this day, he had already earned the Military Medal and the Distinguished Conduct Medal. One of the bravest men in the British Army, and one of the most human. Welcome to Echoes of Valor X. Today, a story that changed the world. Or didn't. We still don't know. The story of a man who didn't pull the trigger, and what it may have cost the entire world. Henry Tandey is not a hero from the movies. He was born in 1891 in the small town of Leamington. His mother died young. He spent part of his childhood in an orphanage. He enlisted voluntarily in 1910. He was 19 years old. When the war broke out in 1914, Tandey was already a soldier. 4 years of trenches, gas attacks, the Somme, Passchendaele. He survived where millions died. And not just survived, he fought like a lion. On August 28, 1918, during the Second Battle of Cambrai, Tandey charged alone across open ground under fire, bombed German positions with grenades, and came back with 20 prisoners. 20. Alone. September 12th, into the attack again under fire. Again he survived. In those 2 months, he earned 3 medals in a row: the Military Medal, the Distinguished Conduct Medal, and, on September 28th, the Victoria Cross, the highest military honor of the British Empire. And it was on that very day, September 28th, that something happened. Something historians would debate for 100 years. The battle near the village of Markling had been raging all day. By evening, the Germans were retreating, chaotically, exhausted, like men who no longer believed the war would ever end. Tandey held his position, and then, out of the smoke and chaos of the retreat, a German soldier appeared in front of him. Young, thin, limping, clearly wounded, no weapon in his hands. He was stumbling toward his own lines, not looking around. Tandey raised his rifle. The distance, just a few meters, impossible to miss, and he lowered it. I took aim, but couldn't shoot a wounded man, so I let him go. His own words, spoken many years later. The German soldier turned around, saw the British soldier standing there, rifle lowered, nodded, and walked away. Tandey forgot about it almost immediately. He still had a war to fight. No time to think about every man you didn't kill. He never learned that man's name. He didn't know that man had memorized his face forever. Fast forward 20 years. 1938. The world is teetering on the edge of the abyss again. British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain flies to Germany. One last attempt to negotiate with Hitler, to stop another war. The meeting takes place at the Berghof, Hitler's mountain retreat in the Bavarian Alps. And there, on the wall of Hitler's study, Chamberlain notices a large painting, painted in 1923. A British soldier, carrying a wounded comrade on his shoulders. A scene from Ypres. Hitler walks up to the painting, points at the figure, and says, That man came so close to killing me that I thought I should never see Germany again." Chamberlain freezes, and then it hits him. The man in the painting was Henry Tandey, the most decorated private soldier of the British Empire, the same man who lowered his rifle 20 years earlier. Back in London, Chamberlain calls Tandey. Imagine that moment. You are an ordinary man, living a quiet life, and the Prime Minister calls you and tells you the man you spared now leads Germany toward another war. Tandey listens and says nothing for a long time. November 1940. Coventry. Night. German bombers appear over the city. Wave after wave. The city burns. The cathedral collapses in flames. 500 years of history gone. 570 people killed. Thousands wounded. Henry Tandey's home destroyed. He stands among the ruins and thinks about one thing. That day in 1918, the crosshairs, the wounded soldier, the nod, the moment he let him go. That same year, a journalist asks him, and Tandey says, "If only I had known what he would become. I was sorry to God I let him go." Not history, not theory, a man, standing in the ashes of his own city. Henry Tandey lived a long life. He died in 1977, 86 years old, and he never knew for certain, was it really Hitler? Maybe they're right, but I can't remember him. Historians still argue. Some say it happened, some say it never did. Some say Hitler invented the story. But we know this, the painting was real. Hitler knew his name and called him the man who almost killed him. The truth? You decide. Henry Tandey didn't pull the trigger, not because of orders, not because of strategy, because he couldn't shoot a wounded man. 1 second, one choice, one lowered rifle, and possibly 60 million lives. War doesn't ask when to be human. It just watches and waits. Tandey chose mercy and spent the rest of his life asking himself, did I do the right thing? And now, a question for you. Do you think this story is true? And if it is, what would have happened if he had pulled the trigger? No Second World War? No Holocaust? Millions alive? Or would history have found another path? Write your answer in the comments. I read every one. Subscribe to Echoes of Valor X. One story, one moment, one question that never goes away. See you in the next one.